Finding random frames in the Fantastic Four first steps until it's ugly. I personally think this is one of the best looking Marvel movies of recent days, so we'll see how this goes. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, cool looking shot. So most of this film was shot on the Arri Alexa 65 with the Ultra Panatar 2 anamorphic lenses. However, this section of the movie was most likely filmed with the 1960s Baltar lenses to help replicate a 16mm film look. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, cool shot. As you can see here, the aspect ratio has changed to a 2.39 to 1, which is due to the anamorphic lenses they used. Other than that, the lighting in the scene is primarily coming from practical lights. As you can see, this nice cool fixture over here, which is reflected in this mirror, gives a nice soft light on our main characters down here. And then the walls of the apartment are accented with these inbuilt lights over here and this light inside of the refrigerator. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's cool. Here we see a microcosm of this entire movie's color palette, where we see blues, we see greens, and we see oranges. These three colors are probably the most used colors in this film, and the reason for that is because they actually took these colors from a comic book, specifically the Fantastic Four number 86 cover. They literally plucked the colors from this comic book cover and then created a LUT that helped to emphasize these very specific hues. And I think that is one of the main reasons why this movie is one of the best looking Marvel movies to come out recently, because of color design. And I will die on this hill. Color design and your color palette you use in your film is one of the most important things you can do to make a film look good. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's a cool frame. The first thing I noticed about this though is the framing is a little bit odd, because you have the thing over here kind of not fully in the frame where everybody else is. And I think the reason for that is he was using a mocap suit and he probably fit the frame without the CGI layered on top of him. But anyway, maybe they could have done a little bit of a better job of that, but you don't need it to be perfectly symmetrical. Other than that, this is a very cool set. Most of this is CGI. This up here is CGI. This up here is CGI. But I believe one of these is mostly real, one of these TVs. And most of this stuff over here is real as well, as you can see by this BTS photo of this set. They actually did have an actor portraying the Silver Surfer on a crane. As you can see, the Silver Surfer is right here. So they actually put someone on a crane so that I guess their eye lines would match. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Oh well, I think that's the best looking frame so far. This shot is actually a composite shot of CGI, which is mostly what you see back here, and a actual practical miniature 14-foot spaceship that they shot outside and then composited onto the image in post. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Whoa. That looks amazing to me. The first thing I noticed about this shot is just how glowy it is. It just has a very nice glow. Some of that is due to the effects right here. As you can see, Invisible Woman's effects are kind of working for some reason. But it also just, the highlights are just nice and soft. And I think that has to do with the lenses they are using. And also the color harmony of the shot is amazing. Mostly we are seeing that one shade of blue from the comic book cover, but we are seeing a little bit of orange, which is the complementary color of blue in the thing and the outside window star things right here. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, that's cool. So obviously we have some overexposed skin here, which is a thing that I kind of criticized about the Superman movie, but you have to remember that overexposure and underexposure is not a bad thing in and of itself. They can be used together to create contrast, and contrast is one of the primary ways to make an image look aesthetically pleasing. Patterns of light are also a way to make an image look aesthetically pleasing, and that is as patterny as it gets right there. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's cool. I do think that one of the weaknesses in this movie is the CGI in some parts. I didn't love the way her CGI looked, I didn't love the way his CGI looked, and I didn't love the CGI baby. However, I do think this is a pretty cool shot. In order to light this properly, they actually had to build a giant floor of LED lights that they then made to have this fire color. And also sometimes when they shot Johnny Storm's CGI effects, they would put an LED bodysuit on him that emitted that color of light so that that light would naturally reflect in the things around him. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that is a very nice close-up. Again, we are using very simple color theory to make a nice image. We have blue in the background and orange on him, separating him from the background. We also have a nice light in his helmet that is kind of separating his face from his suit, which is separated from the background. So even though it is kind of a flat image with the depth of field being so blurry, you do have depth in the image due to the lighting and the color choices. So they are probably getting this orange light from that same LED floor that I showed you earlier, and then above them, I believe in this set, they had a large overhead light containing 100 ProLight ECL panels diffused with magic cloth to give a general ambient light. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, that's cool. I love some of the shots that they have with Galactus in this film because some of these shots give such a nice sense of scale. It makes him feel so much bigger than everyone else. And it's all in the way that you frame this character, because this character was actually shot in a studio and he's partly practical. His eyes here are like bigger than their heads, and I think that just gives a very intimidating presence to this shot. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Wow, I love that shot. If you want to see good lighting, go watch the sequence of this film where they are in the spaceship, because it is so interesting because the lighting is constantly changing and somehow it always looks good. And this shot is no exception. It just looks so precise. Like even just the little pocket of light on her eye right there just looks so precise. And they are like moving with zero gravity and stuff. I don't know how they did this. It's very, very nice looking shot. Here's the only BTS photo I could find of this particular setup. Definitely not ugly. 1, 2, 3. That light is disgustingly soft. And I mean that in a good way. Even though this light is soft and bright, it has contrast to it. And I think that's just a testament to the DP Jess Hall's ability here, because like we saw in something like Superman, sometimes when you light brightly, you light flat. But that's not the case here. In this situation, the key light is coming from the left side here, and the way they got that was by putting 8 18Ks outside these giant windows and then bouncing them off of 2 60 by 30 foot muslins. And as you know, when you bounce bright lights off of large fabric, it creates soft light. But again, we have contrast. This side of her face is bright and this side of her face is noticeably darker. Same thing with him. And even same thing with the Thing, which is not a real thing. So not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. Now, I will say the same thing that I said when I was critiquing Superman, and that is that I personally would like to see more outside of this window because it provides more depth and it provides more world building, but maybe that's just a personal preference. Also, the lens flare here is pretty nice. It's a cool looking lens flare that you don't typically see. I have a nice star pattern on the sun right here, and it is not washing out the image like some lens flares do. So it's a pretty cool looking shot. Let's go to the next one. 1, 2, 3. It's the Underminer. So obviously the scenes with Mole Man take place underground, and so you would expect the lighting to be a little bit different, and in fact, it is a little bit different. On these sets, they used old floodlights made of par cans that were designed to be seen on screen. So as you can see, these lights are not supposed to be futuristic, which gives the set a different feel, but it also gives the lighting quality a little bit of a different feel. As you can see, the backlight here looks a little bit different than what we have seen. It looks a little bit harsher. And that's just something to remember in your films. Don't light every location the same way. Lighting is a storytelling mechanism first and foremost. Not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, again, we have that scale that I love. Not much else to say about this besides it looks really cool. Not ugly. 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's still cool. I don't know, there's something about seeing a CGI baby in front of a CGI giant monster that's a little bit goofy, but the framing of it is cool and it is intimidating. So I think it's a cool looking shot. It's just a little goofy looking. Next shot. 1, 2, 3. Again, I mean, like, I don't know, the framing is cool, but if you showed this to someone out of context, they would be like, why is this giant man holding this baby? But I don't know, it looks cool. It does look cool. It's just a little uncanny, I think. Next shot. 1, 2, 3. Yep, nice looking shot. I do personally wish that this scene had a little bit more oomph. I wish that I really saw her struggle more to justify what happens. But either way, any frame with Vanessa Kirby in it is by definition not an ugly shot. So let's try to find another one. 1, 2, 3. Case in point, not an ugly shot. I love how they positioned her in front of this mirror just to give a kind of silhouetted look. And you also have light probably bouncing off of this table right here, just kind of giving her a nice glow from underneath. It's a nice shot. It's cool. Not ugly. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Cool shot. At first glance, this looks like they used a little bit more of a muted technique with the lighting, but there's a lot going on in this shot with the lighting. There is so much going on in terms of the reflections on their skin. There's just so many lights in this scene that I just couldn't even possibly map out for you. There's a lot going on, but it's all nice, and it all boils down again to soft light and color theory. All right, I'm going to start going faster. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's cool. I like, again, they are silhouetting her with the moon in the background. That looks pretty nice. Don't love the CGI, but 1, 2, 3. Yep, perfectly fine shot. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, what do we got here? I guess that's an ugly frame. But also, one thing I wanted to mention, and I was hoping that I would land on a frame like this, is that I don't love what they did with the CGI with Johnny Storm. I just think, again, what we talked about earlier, there's not much contrast in the fire. And it just kind of looks a little, again, uncanny to me. I think what they did with Michael B. Jordan's Flame On suit was a lot more visually interesting. But let me know in the comments what you think. Until next time, see you later.